$6,000, that is the number an audiologist puts on a piece of paper when your hearing starts to fade, and Medicare will not cover a cent of it. $6,000 for two small devices that sit behind your ears and make sound louder. That number has driven families into debt, driven seniors into isolation, and driven millions of people to simply stop talking in restaurants, on phone calls, and at family dinners. But what if the same technology, the same microchip, the same sound processing that costs $6,000 at a clinic was available at a warehouse store for a fraction of the price? That is not a hypothetical. It is happening right now, and the hearing aid industry is fighting to keep it quiet. Here is what nobody says out loud about hearing aids. The difference between a $6,000 pair and a $1,500 pair is not the technology. The technology inside modern hearing aids comes from a handful of semiconductor manufacturers who sell the same digital signal processing chips to every brand. The difference is the distribution model. A clinic hearing aid price includes the device, yes, but it also includes the audiologist markup, the office overhead, the fitting sessions, the follow-up appointments, the cleaning visits, and the lifetime of adjustments that are bundled into one massive number. Costco strips all of that out and replaces the clinic markup with a membership model. Costco buys hearing aids directly from the same manufacturers, dispenses them through in-store hearing centers staffed by licensed hearing professionals, and charges a fraction of the clinic price because the store subsidizes the cost as a member benefit. Costco does not profit from the hearing aid. Costco profits from the membership renewal. That is a fundamentally different business model, and it changes everything about what you pay. Here are 8 Costco hearing aid options, secretly better than $6,000 clinic brands and 3 to avoid. Number 8. Kirkland Signature 10.0. Start with the one that started the revolution. The Kirkland Signature hearing aid is the best-selling hearing aid brand in the world by volume, and the 10.0 is the latest iteration. It is built by Sonova, the Swiss manufacturer that also builds Phonak, one of the most respected premium hearing aid brands on the planet. The 10.0 uses the same AutoSense operating system that powers Phonak premium models, meaning it automatically detects whether you are in a quiet room, a noisy restaurant, or a crowded room, and adjusts the sound profile without you touching a button. The price at Costco is $1,499 per pair. That price includes the hearing test, the fitting, the follow-up adjustments, and the remote care service. At a clinic, the same Sonova technology in a Phonak shell runs $4,000 to $6,000 per pair plus ongoing fees for adjustments after the first 90 days. The Kirkland 10.0 also includes a telecoil, which is a small copper coil inside the hearing aid that picks up magnetic signals from hearing loop systems installed in theaters, churches, and public transit stations. A telecoil streams sound directly from the venue to the hearing aid without any background noise, and it is a feature that many clinic brands charge extra for or exclude entirely in their entry-level models. The same Sonova technology in a Phonak shell at a clinic runs $4,000 to $6,000 per pair. When the best-selling hearing aid in the world is built by the same company that makes the most expensive hearing aid in the clinic, the premium price is paying for the fitting room, not the chip. Number 7. Rexton Reach made for Costco. Rexton is a brand owned by WS Audiology, the same parent company that builds Signia and Widex hearing aids. The Rexton Reach sold at Costco uses the same dual-processor architecture as the Signia Pure Charge and Go, which is a $3,000 per ear clinic device. The Reach offers direct Bluetooth streaming from both Apple and Android phones, which means phone calls, music, and television audio pipe directly into the hearing aids without a separate streamer pendant. The rechargeable battery runs for 24 hours on a single charge, including streaming time. At Costco, the Reach sells for approximately $1,799 per pair. The Reach also includes what Rexton calls motion sensor hearing, which uses an accelerometer to detect whether the wearer is walking or sitting and adjusts the microphone focus accordingly. When you walk, the hearing aid opens up to omnidirectional listening so you are aware of your surroundings. When you sit, it narrows to directional focus on whoever is in front of you. That adaptive behavior is controlled by the same chip that runs the Signia Pure, meaning Costco buyers get the full premium feature set at roughly 1/4 of the clinic price. The Signia equivalent at a clinic is $4,000 to $5,000 per pair. The tell is the processing architecture. When a Costco hearing aid uses the same chip platform as a clinic brand from the same parent company, the technology is identical, and the price difference is entirely distribution. Number 6. Philips HearLink made for Costco. Philips is not a hearing aid company. The name is licensed by Demant, the Danish manufacturer that also builds Oticon, one of the top 3 premium hearing aid brands worldwide. The Philips HearLink sold at Costco uses the same Velox platform that powers the Oticon More, a clinic device that sells for $3,000 to $4,000 per ear. The Velox platform processes sound across 48 channels simultaneously, which creates a more natural sound landscape than the broader channel systems used in cheaper devices. The HearLink also includes a feature called AI noise reduction that uses deep neural networks trained on 12 million real-world sound scenes to separate speech from background noise. That is the same AI engine used in the Oticon More. At Costco, the HearLink runs approximately $1,999 per pair. The Oticon More at a clinic is $6,000 to $8,000 per pair. When a hearing aid shares its neural network engine with a device that costs 4 times as much, the technology gap is zero. The only gap is the showroom. The HearLink also includes a feature called Open Sound Navigator that processes both the left and right hearing aids as a single system rather than two independent devices. This binaural processing creates a unified sound picture that makes it easier to locate where sounds are coming from, which is critical for safety in traffic and crowded spaces. Number 5. Jabra Enhance Pro, sold at Costco. Jabra is a brand owned by GN Audio, the same Danish company that builds Resound hearing aids. The Jabra Enhance Pro is exclusive to Costco and uses the same sound processing chip as the Resound Li-NX Quattro, which is a premium clinic device priced at $3,500 to $5,000 per pair. The Enhance Pro offers what Jabra calls a 4D sensor that detects when you are moving and when you are stationary, switching between omnidirectional listening when you walk and directional focus when you sit. It also includes fall detection, which sends an alert to a designated contact if the wearer takes a hard fall. For a senior living alone, that feature alone justifies the purchase. At Costco, the Enhance Pro sells for approximately $2,000 per pair. The Resound equivalent at a clinic runs $3,000 to $5,000 per pair. When the same company builds both the Costco version and the clinic version on the same chip, the decision is not about technology. It is about where you want to sit when you get fitted. Number 4. Lexi Buds, sold at Costco. Lexi is a newer brand that entered the market after the FDA created the over-the-counter hearing aid category in 2022. The Lexi Buds are designed for mild to moderate hearing loss, and they pair with a smartphone app that lets the user self-fit the devices without a professional hearing test. The app walks the user through a guided hearing assessment and then programs the hearing aids automatically based on the results. For someone who has been putting off getting hearing aids because the clinic process feels intimidating or expensive, the Lexi Buds remove every barrier. No appointment, no waiting room, no audiologist, no $6,000 invoice. At Costco, the Lexi Buds sell for approximately $999 per pair. The self-fitting technology is FDA cleared, and the sound quality for mild to moderate loss is genuinely competitive with entry-level clinic devices. Lexi also offers unlimited telecare support through the app, meaning a real human hearing consultant can adjust the settings remotely if the self-fitting process does not nail it on the first try. The combination of self-fitting plus remote human support is the bridge between a drugstore amplifier and a full clinical fitting, and it exists entirely inside an app on your phone. The tell is the app. A hearing aid that programs itself through a phone app is not a lesser product. It is a different distribution model for people whose hearing loss does not require clinical intervention. Number 3. Kirkland Signature 9.0. This is the previous generation Kirkland that is still available at some Costco locations and still worth buying for one specific reason. The 9.0 was the first Kirkland hearing aid to include rechargeable batteries and Bluetooth streaming in the same device at the $1,500 price point. That combination did not exist in the clinic market for less than $3,000 per ear when the 9.0 launched. The sound processing is slightly less advanced than the 10.0, but for someone with stable hearing loss who does not need the latest noise reduction algorithms, the 9.0 at clearance pricing is the best value in hearing aids anywhere in the world. The lesson is that last-generation technology in hearing aids is not obsolete. It is 1 year behind the cutting edge, and it costs half as much. Number 2. Rexton Emeron, made for Costco. The Emeron is the behind-the-ear version of the Rexton line, and it is designed for moderate to severe hearing loss, where the receiver and canal style of the Reach is not powerful enough. The Emeron uses a custom receiver that delivers higher maximum gain, meaning it can amplify sound more aggressively for ears with significant damage. It also includes a feature called speech enhancement that identifies the dominant speaker in a conversation and boosts their specific frequency range above the ambient noise. For someone who works in a loud environment or socializes in large groups, speech enhancement is the feature that determines whether the hearing aid actually helps or just makes everything louder. At Costco, the Emeron sells for approximately $1,999 per pair. The clinic equivalent for a behind-the-ear device with this level of processing is $4,000 to $6,000 per pair. When a Costco behind-the-ear device offers the same speech enhancement as a $6,000 clinic brand, The user is not compromising on technology. They are choosing a different checkout line. The Emerin also includes a feature called feedback cancellation that eliminates the whistling sound that hearing aids make when amplified sound leaks back into the microphone. That whistling is the number one reason people stop wearing hearing aids in social situations, because it is audible to everyone nearby, and it is embarrassing. The Emerin feedback cancellation uses the same phase inversion algorithm as the Signia platform, which is considered the best in the industry at suppressing whistling before the user or anyone else can hear it. Number 1. Kirkland Signature 10.0 with Remote Care. The single best hearing aid value in 2026 is the Kirkland 10.0 when paired with Costco Remote Care service. Remote Care allows the hearing aid to be adjusted by a Costco hearing professional over the internet without the user visiting the store. The user opens the app, describes the issue, and the technician adjusts the settings remotely. New settings download instantly. This matters because the single biggest complaint about hearing aids is not the technology, it is the fitting. A hearing aid that is programmed incorrectly sounds terrible, and the user gives up. Multiple studies show that 30% of hearing aids end up in a drawer within the first year, almost always because the fitting was wrong. Costco Remote Care solves that by making adjustments trivial. If the hearing aid sounds tinny, you text the Costco Hearing Center and they fix it overnight. The $6,000 clinic brands now charge per visit for adjustments after the first 90 days. Costco includes remote adjustments for the life of the device at no additional cost, and that is why more people actually wear their Costco hearing aids instead of leaving them in a drawer. The best hearing aid in the world is the one you will actually wear, and the one you will actually wear is the one that gets fixed when it sounds wrong. So those are the 8 worth buying. Now the 3 to avoid, because a hearing aid is only as good as its fitting and its support. First, the no-name online hearing aid. Everyone sees hearing aids advertised on social media and television for $200 to $500 with no brand name, no FDA clearance, and no professional fitting. These are not hearing aids. They are personal sound amplification products, which is the category for devices that make everything louder but do not process speech. A PSAP is a megaphone for your ear. It does not distinguish between the voice you want to hear and the refrigerator you do not. For someone with real hearing loss, a PSAP is worse than no device at all because it drowns speech in amplified noise. Second, the clinic brand bought without a hearing test. The technology inside a premium hearing aid only works when it is programmed for the specific hearing loss of the specific ear. Buying a $6,000 hearing aid off the shelf or through an online retailer without a comprehensive audiogram is like buying prescription glasses without an eye exam. The lens exists, but it is not focused on your eye. The same device programmed incorrectly will sound worse than a cheaper one programmed correctly. Third, the one everyone writes off. The PSA personal sound amplifier from a drugstore. Yes, the $40 amplifier from the pharmacy shelf that everyone mocks as a toy. Here is what people miss. For someone with very mild hearing loss who is not ready for a full hearing aid, a $40 amplifier used in specific situations, watching television in bed, listening to a sermon on Sunday morning, sitting in a quiet conversation, can extend independence by months or years before a real hearing aid becomes necessary. It is not a replacement for a hearing aid. It is a bridge, and at that price it buys time for someone who is not emotionally ready. And at $40, the cost per month of actual use is negligible compared to a $6,000 device that sits in a drawer because the fitting was never right. That is the whole point of this list. The hearing aid that costs the least per month of actual use is the one worth buying. The technology is the same. The chip is the same. The only difference is which door you walk through to get it. Judge the fitting process, not the price tag. And when the difference between hearing your grandchildren and not hearing them is a membership card and a walk to the back of a warehouse, never let that number keep you silent.